right, guess what? It's another Smash day today. How you guys doing today? Hope you're doing awesome. We're going to be doing, well, freeing up the groin. Hey, how about that? Clean up your groin. Doesn't that sound just abysmal? Hey, it's going to be diabolical, but it's going to work really well. It's going to clean up the hips. It's going to clean up the groin. It's going to fix up and free up your low back. These are things that are super important because we spend our days a lot of times sitting, you know, and it's something that you got to think about because that sitting, like K-Star says, is sitting's like smoking, and it really is. It's just that detrimental. It just destroys your health. I'm moving rings, by the way, out of the way so I can put you up on my super fancy camera stand / J-hook. So I can go like this instead. A lot easier, right? So what happens is, I'm going to say clean up your groin because we're going to hit that groin a lot. We're going to hit it hard, and it just sounds awful, but hey, we got to do it. We're going to clean up that joint capsule, clear out the hamstrings and part of the quad, primarily the rectus femoris. So it goes from the AIIS, right, from the front of the hip, all the way across the knee to the tibial tuberosity. So if I can get my knee up that high, hey, I actually can. It crosses both joints, so it affects both joints, and it's going to wind up dumping that pelvis forward. And I know you can't see me right now, but I'll show you what I'm talking about afterwards. But we need to clean up the movement of that hip so it has that 360 degrees of movement. And then we need to unload everything so that low back feels better and moves the way it's supposed to, so those discs aren't loaded with shear. And then we need to separate all the tissue, like the adductors, the external rotators, the internal rotators, everything that kind of affects the groin, so you can move the way you're supposed to. Because if you spend your day sitting, I went over this yesterday, you spend your day sitting, it mutes up and shellacks those tissues down and affects the functional movement of the hip and the low back. And all of that is going to cause, well, you know what? Easy decay and joint just destruction and tissue decay and injuries that happen out of the blue, right? Don't you love when people do air quotes? But out of the blue, and they aren't out of the blue. They're just an injury waiting to happen. And as those tissues start to load up, you get cumulative stress on the joint and cumulative stress on the tissue. And next thing you know, poof, you have a blowout in the hamstring or the adductor, you pull your groin, all that stuff. And I think today's like the air quote day. But you pull all this stuff, you rip all that tissue apart, and next thing you know, you're left on the sidelines because of an injury that you could have avoided. So imagine if you can predict an injury. Yeah, that's cool. And then address it before it happens. That's my new system, by the way, coming out. I'm going to talk about it later, but it is SmashweRx source code. I'm just going to tell you right now, it is the injury prediction system. I'm going to put it out. This isn't a plug or anything like that, but you guys are going to get it. It is going to be so sick. Basically how to predict an injury and then how to intervene so it doesn't happen, save you guys a whole lot of pain and grief, and get you back on the field as fast as possible, keep you from coming off the field, or even just taking care of your kids or driving in your car. So first things first, as I'm yapping away, God, sometimes just getting me to shut up is impossible, right? So we want to unload the hamstrings. The hamstrings attach on the ischial tuberosity and cross the knee. Well, 3 of the 4 actually do. And the big thing is loading them up under a functional load with slight activation is kind of hard. It's kind of problematic. So I'm going to show you how to do it. You can see me here. So trust me, you're going to want me to be at half mast like this so you can see what I'm doing. But loading it up under a slight tensile load while getting a stretch at the same time, really cool, and it's super functional, and it's going to peel away that tissue, and you're just going to camp out. All you're going to do is hang out. So you're going to get a heavy band like this. You're going to step in. The band is going to go across the front of the pelvis, just like this, and then all you're going to do is you're going to load up the band. I'm going to have you put a slight bend in the knee. So my feet are about shoulder width apart. I'm going to come all the way forward, just like this. Now my knees are still bent a little bit. My heels are glued to the floor, like crazy glue, stapled. I'm going to flat palm the floor, just like this, and then I'm going to straighten out my knees. Now the band is taking, sorry about my nose stuffing up, but my band is taking probably about 80% of the load of my body, and I'm just going to hang out here for how long? 2 minutes, baby. That's number 1. It's going to unload the gastroc, the soleus, the hamstrings, all that stuff, and it's going to free up that pelvis and clean up part of the groin. That's number 1. You don't think the hamstrings have to do with your groin? Think again. All right, that's number 1. Way you come out of it, unlock the knees, step out of the band. All right, number 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my leg up. So I'm in essentially a Spider-Man, right? I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to plant it down here. The band is dragging the femur into the posterior portion of the capsule. That's where it needs to be. That's where it's the most stable. That's number 1. Number two is, this is the SmashweRx variation, remember that? So we're gonna take the leg and we're gonna extend it all the way out. The band is still dragging all the way into the back of the socket. You're gonna hang out like this for 2 minutes, okay? Then you're gonna come back down and all you're gonna do is you're gonna rotate towards this side, foot stays flat, not rolled on the outside, and then you're gonna push that knee out and you're gonna hang out like this. So this is an entire groin mobility. It's gonna take you 6 minutes to do this entire thing. So we've got 1, right? We've got 2, and then we've got 3. Oh, that's grisly. There is some funky stuff there. I tell ya, that's pretty gnarly. All right, next one. All this stuff is gonna free up your groin. Trust me, this is some cool stuff. You're gonna take a band, you're gonna go around each knee. The last one's the fun one, by the way. So you can see as you walk, like you gotta go potty. You're just gonna hang out on the bottom of a squat. The band is gonna pull the knees apart. Now, if you're having an issue with this one, get your elbows between there and just hang out like this for how long? 5 minutes. Camp out in the squat, 5 minutes. All right, get the band off you. Last one, baby. This is like a glorified basket stomp with a band. So check this out. You can see I got a band up there. See if we can get this to stay. We've got a band up here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, it doesn't even need to be that high. Look at that. Let's go like this. There. Yeah. We're gonna take the band, we're gonna bring it all the way down, get our foot up in here. So now I've got the band all the way on the ground, load it up. You can use a heavier band like this if you want. I'm only 190 pounds, so you can use something heavier if you're like 220, 230, 240. If you're only like a $110, use a lighter band. And you're gonna hang onto the rig, you're gonna let this bring your leg up as high as it can. This is gonna force you to engage all the muscles to stomp down into the floor. I want your foot flat, foot dorsiflexed. So, stomp down, that's all you gotta do. So all the way up, stomp down, all the way up, stomp down, and watch this. Is not helping you. Yeah, nice tall spine. Let it bring your leg all the way up. You should have a lot of hip flexion here. If you don't have this kind of hip flexion, if you stop here and then wind up inching forward, we need to talk about that. All the way down. That's it. 2 sets of 10, call it a day. Your groin has got some freedom. Hey, I'm Trev, SmashweRx. I'll check you guys out tomorrow. Have an awesome day.